Okay, so before coming on to start recording this video, I checked my analytics and I saw on my YouTube channel, one person unsubscribed. I think the new type of content that I'm making is going to get some people unsubscribing, and I guess it's going to separate the real from the fake. So, well, it's a price I have to pay to get consistent and build a community on YouTube. You know, there's creators that I like to watch. Any content they put out, I like to watch every content like they put out. Sometimes I wish they could post like every day. So that's like, there's something that I'm trying to create here with my channel, where I put out videos like every other day, and hopefully those people that like to watch my content on a daily basis or like to watch every video that I post can have something to look forward to every other day. So yeah, let's get with the video. So what am I talking about today? Today I want to talk about learning, and why it's a character trait that you should build on your journey to success. But I don't want to sound like someone who's coming here to educate you guys. Man, I'm not really up for that. All I just want to do is just like tell you about myself and probably tell you some stories on how I got about to learning so much stuff. Because for me, learning has always been something that has given me power in a sense. Like anytime when I feel powerless when I'm getting onto something and I decide to put my head and learn that thing, all of a sudden I gain some power, and now I can better do that thing that has crossed my mind, or that has come about, and I go about it very well. Just last night not last night, it was actually the day before, but last night and yesterday, let me say yesterday. So yesterday I did a lot of research. I think like the entire day just doing research on condos, just because I got to realize that it's also another type of investment that people make. And I was like, what? Condos? Like, I can buy property from a building that's already established. Wow, it was interesting. So I just went and I drowned myself in videos, like content. I watched so many videos yesterday, like just the entire day I was just like watching videos and content and trying to see different perspectives from people. Like, you know, what's up? Why would you invest in a condo? Why would you decide? Why wouldn't you buy a house, like a standalone house, and invest in a condo? And I got to gain like these different perspectives, and hopefully I'll make a video on that. I don't want like deviate and go straight into condos right now, because there's still a lot that I'm still trying to uncover. And I've just seen that it's an interesting investment if you know how to pull it right. It also has its own caveats, but yeah, like I just felt like I needed to make the research on a condo when I was just like trying to see all my payment options, my investment options, and see where I can put my money. And it crossed my mind, and I did some more research. So anytime I feel like I'm powerless, I seek to learn. Some people see learning as something that is like a punishment, because in school anytime we were learning something, we were met with exams. You know, they would bring about exams, and now all of a sudden you have to remember what you learned. And if you learned that thing at the beginning of the term, you've probably forgotten about it right now. So like it created that kind of like tension, that negative energy towards learning. So some people after high school and studies in general, they just felt like, you know what, I'm done with learning, that's it, I'm not learning anymore. And nowadays there's like so much information out there, so you can still continue learning and learn at your own pace, but you only have to be curious to be able to do that, to learn about things. When you feel powerless, and at least I'm going to bring this from my perspective, when you feel like you don't know something, instead of you conceding that power, instead of you conceding that instead of you just going about with your ignorance and being like, man, I don't know about this, man, you know what, unless I get an expert on this topic, I'm not going to bother with it. Instead of you thinking in such a way, you can seek to learn with everything that I've taken approach towards. Because I wasn't like having access to funds. You know, when you don't have access to money, sometimes you're forced to do some things. So because I didn't have like access to money, maybe to go and pay an expert to teach me on financing or to teach me on video editing content creation, I had to build that thing in me for learning. There was a time I was just like reading books like crazy. And by then I just felt like if I read so many books and I read like books on specific subjects, I would be more comfortable living through life, like just because I know so much. You know, they say knowledge is a curse. Say knowledge. I think there's a knowledge is a gift and it's also a curse. It's a gift. It's a gift and a curse. Yeah, knowledge is a gift and a curse. So much as I've been learning and I was learning throughout my, I think I've jumped stages here with my discussion, because I just moved from you wanting to learn, you gaining that thing of learning, to knowledge is a gift and a curse. So now I'm going to go to the negative side of knowledge, yet that's not really necessary right now. I just need to like get you guys to have like that, you know, that vigor, that hunger. How I was able to build my learning character, how I was able to build my desire to get to know things, was just by reading my first book. Like, it's funny, just by reading my first book. The first book I ever read was, it's actually here, it's called, Success Habits by Napoleon Hill. Success Habits by Napoleon Hill. And this book had an interesting way of piquing my interest, in that it has like some notes that are written on the front page of the book, and it says, in this book are the success secrets of magnates, tycoons, moguls, and top achievers. Then we move on to Andrew Carnegie, Alexander Graham, Henry Ford, P.T. Barnum, Theodore Roosevelt, are towering figures whose names live on in history, not in infamy. Unlike the headline makers of today, the above top achievers are geniuses, not jailbirds, winners, not whiners. They had more than clout, they had class. We need their wisdom more than ever. They were the stuff of legends. Though they were by no means saints, they were undoubtedly larger than life, often doing what others said couldn't be done. As millions before you testify, this book, drawing on the experiences of the above and many more powerful and wealthy people, will cause important ideas to flash in your mind, show you how to succeed in any walk of life, and thus enable you to join the ranks of the world's successful top achievers. I think what got me here was just this part where it says, cause important ideas to flash in your mind, show you how to succeed in any walk of life. Like, that was an interesting read when I just read the front page of the book, and I was like, wait, so the secrets of top achievers are in this book. Like, right now, I don't think people, like, most people know Think and Grow Rich because these books are here, his other books are here, Think and Grow Rich. They also know how to win friends and influence people. Master keys to success. They know mainly Think and Grow Rich and how to win friends and influence people. But this isn't really like, you know, a standout book, but it has interesting insights to it. And for me, just reading the front page of the book was just like, what? So if I read about like successful people, it's going to cause me to like think, it's going to cause important ideas to flash in my mind. I'm like, what important ideas are those? Like, I need to get in on this. You know, it's funny how my brain works. Like, when I get curious about something, I just want to drown myself in that thing. I don't care how long it's going to take me. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to learn it. And that's just been the way for me. And that's how I've gotten to build this character of learning without feeling any much weight on me or any pressure on me. Like, I just do it and I just feel comfortable. In fact, when I do it, I ease up. All the anxiety goes. All my problems, whatever has been disturbing me, just disappears. It's like playing games. When I decide to play games and I just get immersed in the game, especially like games that have missions and require you to concentrate and pay attention and really dedicate yourself, Like it has this dopamine hit when you drown yourself in a certain game and you just like try to finish that mission. And once you finish that mission, you feel happy, you feel excited for yourself. There's a mission that I'm playing right now in Legend of Zelda on my Nintendo, and this mission is hard. There's this beast I have to beat. It's funny. I'm showing you guys.
Watch yourself.
Look at that. Are you seeing that beast? It hit me. Now, beating that beast is hard. I spent an entire evening actually just like being able to figure out the entire beast. Like there's a beast that you have to figure out. Then after that, it unlocks this other beast that you have to fight. There's a lot that goes into, like, let me not get into the game right now, but I drowned myself. I uncovered, like, there were so many like patterns to unlock the part for you to reach the part where you meet and fight that big beast. And so like just like playing the game and doing that for like an entire evening was interesting. Now I have to like find time and I beat this beast, then I move on to the next part. Like there's just something about playing games, about reading and having like that curiosity that just moves me. Right? That just moves me. You just like it's so easy when you're curious about something. It becomes easy for you to go about. And how do you? Let me first finish this statement. When you have curiosity, it's so easy for you to go about learning things. And how do you build curiosity? You need to have imagination in a sense. At least your mind needs to be in constant motion. You need to be thinking a lot. For most people, they don't do a lot of thinking. Instead, they do a lot of reacting. And that's the way I was. I was like this guy who would just react to anything that would come about. I don't feel good about something. I'm pissed. I'm showing you that I'm pissed. I don't know something. Everybody is going to know I don't know it. Like I would just react. I would just react to whatever came at me. But once I started reading, all of a sudden I would take a step back. I would think, and when I realized that, okay, there are like gaps in my thought process, then I would seek to learn more. But before it was just like, okay, I don't know this. Everybody has to know. I don't know this. Oh, I'm not going to attempt it because I don't know about it. Like if you don't have that curiosity, and curiosity comes from you taking a step back, from you at least thinking, at least like having some distance from yourself and being able to think, then you won't be able to build a character for learning. Sometimes you're there, you're like, man, I don't know this and I want to start learning it. And then you find a way to dodge learning. You find a way to do other things, but not learning. You tell yourself, I'm going to read the book, but let me first do this and this. Okay, I'm going to watch the video. I'm going to watch that whole course on YouTube, but let me first do this and this. Or I'm going to watch that whole documentary and learn about Alexander the Great. But let me first do this, let me first do that. Oh, I've been called, let me go and I do that. Like you prioritize other things but not learning. And sometimes it's just because you don't have that, you don't have that distance. You don't give yourself the time to stop and think. If you just give yourself the time to stop and think, you would uncover that the importance of you learning this thing. Because if you know you have a gap in, say, real estate investment, right? You have a gap in real estate investment. And instead of you giving yourself time to think about what things you don't understand in real estate investing that could cause you to then decide to learn about real estate investment, you just say, I don't know about real estate investment. That's not a field for me. Let me do something else. Let me try opening a shop, and then I run a shop. Like, people are doing it, people are making money. Like you just decide to ignore that investment and you go about this other investment. Yet real estate investment could have been the better investment, but you decide to go and open up a boutique. And you know how boutiques, how they don't really perform well in the market that we're in, or sometimes they do if you have connections. Like there's a whole thing around it, but you just ignore this and you say many people are doing this. And also sometimes it's just, and sometimes I can understand, because sometimes it's just, who are you? Who do you have access to that could help you with your ignorance, that could help you enlighten you on a certain subject? Who do you have access to? me the access that I've managed to build for myself, and that I've managed to like, that has helped me out over the years, has been YouTube. Just watching content, just watching a lot of YouTube, and also reading books. Though nowadays I don't read books that much. Like, I'm also now being that ignorant guy who knows that you have deficiencies, you have like things that you don't know, and instead of you like stopping to think and then picking up a book to read, instead I just like dodge reading, and I just say, you know what, maybe I can learn about this on YouTube. Then I just go and I drown myself on YouTube videos. And because YouTube videos, you learn instantly, and you just watch so many videos and then you pick up things instantly, compared to reading, which requires you to take time and read through a person's like written document, a person's written book. It requires you to take so much time, and after you read a book, things stick a lot longer when you read books than when you watch content. Because the other day I was talking about personal branding, and yes, I had known about personal branding for years, but it was only after after a series and series of videos, and then I just landed on this one video on Inman Gatsy, and I think even I probably watched the video in the past, because when I was clicking the video to watch it, it showed the red line on YouTube, like on the YouTube video, which was notifying me that you've watched this already, but it still suggested it to me. And I looked at the title, it seemed like something I had never watched. I just tapped on the video, watched it again, and then ideas sparked in my head. And all of a sudden now I'm picking on to what he was meaning by personal branding in the first place. That's the difference between reading and like watching content. When you watch content, you're going to watch tons and tons of content and you'll still not get the idea. But when you read books, because you're moving step by step, the author is taking you step by step. After a series of books after some chapters, or even after the first chapter and what, because when you're reading, you're like processing things in the moment instantly, though it's taking a lot more time, because you have to first read, then think about it, read, then think about it, read, then think about it. And there's an interesting concept that, as I don't know, psychologist or something, I watched one time on YouTube where the person was saying the only way people are able to remember something is when you think about thinking. I don't know, something like that. You think. To remember something, you remember when you remember, like, I don't remember how it goes exactly, but it was implying that when something comes into mind, like when something happens, then you think about it later on, just because you've thought about it later on, and you like now try to uncover what that thing was all about. You years after, because you went back and thought about that thing, you will still remember that thing that you went back and thought about. Like, you think over what you've thought about. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but like, you think over what you thought about. So when you learn things, sometimes there are things which you do like unconsciously, and there are things that we do just like really quick. And the only reason why we're not able to like really remember them is because we haven't given ourselves the time and the space to actually sit and think about them. So we do something and then we just go about our business and we just go about something else. But with reading, when you read a line of text, when you read a sentence, you have to think about it, right? That's why it's slow. That's why it's slower than watching YouTube videos. You read a line of text, you think about it. You read, you think about it. I mean, you can read while you think about it, but still, like, you're reading while you're processing in your head, like you're thinking about. Reading is one thing, thinking is another thing. So there are two processes that are going on when you're reading a book, as opposed to watching YouTube videos. YouTube videos also, it can be the same, but you will need to like really pay attention. Really pay attention to uncover. Sometimes you're like, okay, I'm curious about real estate, but once you start watching the videos, you're just like looking you're looking for that confirmation bias, where you're looking for something that affirms to what you already know about real estate. So you're just like, looking for that thing that is affirming to real estate, until when like maybe the person says something that just hits your mind really hard, then everything else that he has been saying can start to like, then everything that he has been saying, I mean, okay, let me just say, then what he has said at that moment, because it has hit your mind, is when you actually now begin to think. But everything else that he has been saying doesn't really hit your mind. Like, it was just, by the way, like, you are just looking for that confirmation bias, guys. I think a lot, man. I think a lot. Like, it's crazy. And it's crazy. I'm even like sharing. I'm thinking for you guys in real time right now. Like, this is me on a daily. I just usually do this on a daily where I'm just like walking around and I'm just thinking. So I think about thinking. And that's how I'm able to remember things. And that's how I'm able to stay in line in life. Like, just stay in line, and go about looking for more success and just making more money and just like achieving bigger things, because I think constantly. It just allows me not to soar away from my path. So that's the something for you. If you just pick that character of learning and thinking overthinking, like thinking over what you've learned, you will be able to retain things in your mind, and you won't be easily swayed by other things that may come about when you go out or when you interact with different people and enter different circles. Like, I know for a fact, even if I enter with circle or what circle, because I constantly think, I'll just look at things from a distance and look at things from the outside and just, okay, you guys are doing this and that. Okay, that's not for me. I don't really do that. So it's how I've been able to like just hold myself for years. I don't drink, so whenever I go out, you're not going to find me holding a bottle to drink. Like, I'll say that people do it, and yeah, that's the thing. Like, that's not for me, like, you know. So we can go back to learning here a bit. So learning is a character that takes time. It's a character that also takes time. Let me just say that it's a character that also takes time. I mean, you're going to have to constantly take notice of yourself when you don't know about things. Like, when you don't know about something, instead of you being straight up ignorant and telling yourself, man, I don't know about this, let me leave it, let me just do something else, you're going to have to take notice that you don't know about this thing and then want to know about it. Like, you first take notice, I don't know about this, then you want to know about it. Like, that's just how I do things. If I don't know, someone gave me a project. I was given a project one time to make like a PowerPoint presentation and yes, I had learned about PowerPoint presentations in high school, but this was a project, like, the person initially gave me the project and I was about to, like, I'd actually turned down the gig. I was like, you know what, man, I don't really do that, man. Maybe you should find a secretary, you should do that. But the person was like, but you know a bit about graphics and what, go ahead, just do it. Like, do it. Okay, I'm like, I do remember how to, I know how to make PowerPoint presentations. I know how to go about the interface. I know it, but like, I know it in passing. I don't like really know it, like details, like go there and then, but I know it in passing. I'm like, you know what? Let me just give it a try. I told him it's okay, you can send a project, but I won't guarantee you that I'm really going to do something that, just send me the project. Then I sat down, got my headsets, listening to music, and I just started like putting things one step at a time. And I'm going to talk about doing things one step at a time, guys. This is the most beautiful thing about learning, or not exactly about learning, but just let's get there slowly. Like, I just started putting things one step at a time. So the document was, I think, 6 pages or 7 pages, and I just tell myself, let's focus on page 1. So I get page 1, I write the title, I put the next line, then I just like make sure everything is aligned properly, and my mind just tells me, okay, this looks neat, it looks well aligned, let's move to the next one. Move on to the next one. I place everything, like, place everything in place. I'm like, okay, we move to the next one. Then I just finish placing everything. I'm like, okay, everything looks good. Let's look for a template to use for this PowerPoint presentation. Okay, I went and I looked for a template to get the PowerPoint presentation looking nice. Okay, with the template, and I'm like, PowerPoint presentations, because there are presentations, they will need like animations to go to the next one. Now I'm like, okay, now let's get animations. Let's look for animations to transition into the next page. I got animations to transition into the next page. And I'm like, okay, now I finished creating the layout and everything for the work, for the presentation. It looks okay for me. Let me now put it together and I send it to the client. So I sent it to the client, and for me, it just allowed me to buy time. Like, yes, I finished doing this, I finished like creating, and in my head I'm like, okay, it looks cool, but let me send it to the client. And whenever clients send you work, much as they don't know how to what am I doing? Much as they don't know how to connect, like put the work together, they also have like design ideas in their mind. They know what looks nice and what doesn't. So I sent it to the client, and the client like made revisions and it's like, okay, so we need to change here, we need to do like this, do like that. I'm like, okay. Then he sends the work back, and I'm like, okay. Now I started like just breaking down his revisions one by one. And then I started putting them into the work. Actually, when he sent me the revisions, because he sent me like 5 paragraphs or 6 paragraphs or some shit like that. Like, it was crazy. And I was just like, what? I remember I was like, because I'd slept late that night, I'd woken up like at 8 something. Then I saw the document. I'm like, what? Like, I was just like, this, like, damn, now why did I take on this project? Now you see all of these revisions. This is crazy. I'm like, you know what? Let me just sleep. I'll think about it later when I wake up. I slept, but I had read everything that he had written. Then I just slept on it. Then I woke up and I'm like, let's do this one step at a time. I just went and I just started like, making his revisions one step at a time. And it just all of a sudden turned out to be just something easy that I was just supposed to, because I had seen so many paragraphs and I had like passed through the reading, just passed through whatever he had written. I had passed through what he had sent. I felt like frustrated. I felt like this project is a headache. It's going to take me so much time. It's going to be a nightmare for me to finish. And when I woke up and I just started taking things one step at a time, all of a sudden this was an easy project. Made my money and had a good day, had a good week. Yeah. So now let me talk about doing things one step at a time. Because when you do things one step at a time, you're going to remove so much anxiety. You're going to remove so many obstacles. You're going to remove them, because we usually create obstacles in our heads unconsciously. Like, you've been handed a project, but because you've never attempted it before, you feel like it's something that you can't really do. I mean, if it's something that you can't do because you've never opened Premiere Pro, let's say, or you've never done a project in After Effects, that's understandable. Like, that's something that you've never, but if you've been in Photoshop before, now like me, I've been in Photoshop before, but one thing I don't like doing is making flyers. But if someone sent me a flyer, like a reference flyer, and they were like, make for me a flyer like this, I would probably freak out. Like, no jokes, I would freak out. Like, this flyer looks so hard, like it's crazy, it has so much stuff. I would freak out. But if I just decide to like put myself together, and that's what I usually do, like I just put myself together, I'm like, let's study this one step at a time. Let's do this one step at a time. So I'll create the template. I mean, the template, the layout, put it there. Then I'm like, let us look at the background. So what's in the background? Let's study the background. Oh, it's a textured background. Then I'll go search on the internet, texture backgrounds, get a texture background, put it there. I'm like, okay. So there's something there in the background that seems to look like radios, but it's not so clear. Then I'm like, let me go and look for radio PNGs, and ones in black and white. But when they have like made like a doodle of it or something like that, then I'll search on the internet and I'll get them. Now remember, I'm getting in black and white, so that allows me to use what are they called, layer effects or something like that. I'll get it and then I'll just go through like the menu, because there's normal, there's dissolve, there's soft overlay screen. There are all those. For creators out there, you'll understand what I'm talking about here. So I'll put, and then I'll connect, and I'll be like, okay, now it has come out. Okay, now it's coming out. It's actually, so I'll just do things one step at a time. When you don't know something, it's always good to like take things from an approach where you're like just doing things one step in at a time. I learned that from like so many movies I had watched and so many books I had read. And one of the movies that really stood out to me about this concept was Witcher. In The Witcher, You remember those women who used to like go and do magic and what? And there was Jennifer who wanted to get results immediately. She would always be pissed when things don't work out. And yet, apparently, she was like the most powerful witch amongst them. But she didn't know because she was like just reacting to her emotions. Whenever something didn't work out, she's pissed and she wants results ASAP. But also, you can understand from where she had come from, like she was being mistreated and what. So she felt like the world didn't understand her, and so she just used this aggressive approach to get results. But while she was like learning amongst those other witches, the leader, I don't remember what her name was, she used to just talk about controlling chaos. And there's a phrase that she uttered about chaos. She's like, is it we need to control chaos or what? If we let it consume us, this and this. When I read that, like I watched, which was in 2021 or 2022, when I learned that, I'm like, anytime something is disturbing me, I'm just like, let's control chaos. This is chaos. Let's control chaos. And how do you control chaos? You take things one step at a time. One step at a time. If you don't know anything, take it one step at a time. I know it takes time, but that's the advantage. That's the asset that you have when you don't know anything. It's time. You don't know about I don't want to use real estate again. You don't know about what? You don't know about accounting, or you don't know about stocks, investing in stocks. You take things one step at a time. You say, okay, I don't know about stocks. Let's first find out what is a stock. You go and find out what is a stock. Then you like, where are stocks traded? You find out where they're traded. Like one thing at a time, slowly. It allows you now to start picking on. Like you see, as you're learning things one step at a time, you're also building that curiosity in your head. Because now that you finished knowing what a stock is, you now want to know where they're traded. Okay? You find out where they're traded. Okay? Now that you found out where they're traded, like, so how do they go up and down? What's the problem? You find out how markets work. Like all of a sudden you're engulfed in stocks. Like now stocks is this thing that that you're interested in. You like want to you want to trade in all kinds of stocks. You understand how the market works. Like all of a sudden, from someone who didn't know anything, you now know about stocks. You're now making money from trading in stocks. Like it just takes that first step, and it just needs you to take things one step at a time and just control the chaos. The chaos is seeing the end game and thinking that you can't reach there, and thinking that it's a whole like lot of things to grasp in order for you to reach the end game. I mean, it is a whole lot of things for you to grasp before you reach the end game. I mean, it's not really like something that you can reach immediately, but for you to get there, you have to take the first step and take the second step and take the third step, fourth, fifth, like that. So that's just how it's been for me. Like guys, man, learning is the best thing that you can ever do. I don't even know how else to explain it to you. I don't know. Like, I'm just trying to uncover to you so many of the formats that have worked for me and how I've just been able to go about this. Even for reading right now like this, I know I keep telling myself that the only reason I can't settle down to read is because I keep on thinking a lot about money and how I can make more money and the future, because for some reason I feel like I'm growing old, yet I'm just 25. I'm just like, maybe I'm like, time is passing me or some shit like that. But you just play for time. I was there in the first video, I was talking about how wealth is hard for us to grasp in our current age. Like you see a house is being sold for 200 million, 150 million. And how are you going to finance that? Then recently, as I was just taking in so much content, I realized that if you can just make at least up to 5 million or at least 10 million, you can go to an investment company or something, to a real estate company or something like that, and they show you some of the real estates that they have, and then you put down that 5 million or 10 million as a down payment. Then they draft for you a payment plan where you be paying a certain amount of money on a monthly basis and over a period of time, because now you're now going to use time to acquire that asset that is of 200 million or 100 and something million. And it made so much sense, because I could see myself, like, say, putting down payment of 5 million on a house of 110 million and taking around 18 years or 17 years to clear that payment if I'm paying 500,000 a month. Wow. Wow. And then when I sit down and I calculate, so okay, I'm now 25 years, 25 plus 17 years, let's say. Let's see. It's around 30 something years there, right? No, it's like 42 or 41. Guys, do the math for me, please. My head is just thinking wild here. But yes, you'll be like in your 40s there, but when do men reach their primes? If you're a man, when do you reach your prime? Most of us men reach our primes in our 40s. Like, it's crazy. Look at most of the rich guys that are out there. Most of them like are old guys with money. And why? They played for time. You probably don't know this, but they played for time. How they acquired their assets and what, they just played for time. They used the resources that they had and they leveraged it to acquire assets. I need to speak about leverage in a video because leverage is also an interesting concept. Once you figure it out, once you learn about leverage, wow, life is just going to be so nice to go through. So nice to go through. I'll talk about leverage in another video, but these people got jobs. They were making a decent amount of money and they used that job, the income from those jobs, to buy assets. They used it as leverage to buy assets, and now 15, 20 years later, they are like rich guys. They have properties. You know, they have money that's coming out of those properties every month. But you ask yourself, how does this person own this building of 200 and something million? And it's like that. That's how they did it. That's how they financed for it. They played for time. They put a down payment and they say paying every month, and all of a sudden all the problems are gone. I just took things one step at a time. I just went and I watched a video where someone was talking about financing. Like, before, when I was just thinking about this, people are saying buy properties and make millions buy properties and make millions. I was like, how am I going to buy my first property if properties are 200, 300 million? How am I going to do it? Then I just realized that, I had jumped stages. I had jumped steps. I missed step one of down payment and paying and drafting a payment plan. But although with this approach, you need to have consistent income. You need to have a job, a reliable job. Damn, I'm speaking too much. You need to have a reliable job that is paying you on a monthly basis so that you finance that property. But also, you can just be smart about it. You can put down the down payment because they give you ownership of the thing even when you haven't completed, like, because you've put the down payment. You can get a tenant to be staying in, bringing you income, and now you start paying off that loan over a period of time through this tenant's money. Wow, it made so much sense. Guys, I just had to bring in a bit of real estate into this discussion. But yeah, man, just take things one step at a time, and that's how you build this whole thing of learning. Have curiosity. I think I talked about have curiosity, be curious. Take time to like just stop. Don't react to things. Stop and then think. Think about, remember about, I'm still trying to remember this guy's exact quote or this guy's exact statement when he said that. Like, it has never moved out of my head ever since I had it. I think I had it like in 2021 or 2020. Ever since that time, it has never moved out of my head. So whenever I need to like learn something, I just need to take things one step at a time, and just learn something. Then I sit down and think about it, because now you remember something that guys, let me just stop here because now I'm just messing up my entire discussion. But if you go back in the video, you will see me explain that, and I think I explained it well. I hope I did. But yeah, guys, be curious, stop to think, take things one step at a time, and play for time. Those are the four main things. And play for time. Those are the four main things. I think I'll watch this video again one time when I'm like really messed up and I'm scattered in my head, because that's the weird thing about living, about life itself. Like, one time you organized, everything is kawa, everything you seem to know about how to go about things, and the next moment you messed up. Like, so much shit is happening very quickly. Like, sometimes you have so much coming at you at the same time. Like so much, like you have a problem here, that side, you have this to finish, clients are, bro, so much shit is coming, and you forget all these other things that you forget to take things one step at a time, to prioritize one thing and then another and then another, and all of a sudden you've finished all those things. But because so many things are coming at the same time, you feel like bursting, you feel like your head is about to burst, yet you could just finish your client work, then go ahead and attend to this person, then go and attend to that person. I think I'll make another video. I'm just talking about patience and taking things one step at a time. But yeah, I'm sure I've touched on it in this video as well. So guys, these videos are more long. I know. I hinted at it in some of my previous videos, and I said I talk a lot. I might have not been doing it on camera, but in my space, I usually talk to myself sometimes. Like, I just talk a lot. I just talk a lot, and I think a lot. It's crazy. If you build that whole thing of thinking, I just feel like life is just going to feel much better for you if you just learn how to think. Because I don't really like have that many problems, except the ones that I create for myself inside here. Except the ones that I create for myself inside here in my head. So yeah, that's been it for this video. This is the first time I'm going to say this, I think. Like, subscribe. Ever since I creating this kind of videos, I haven't said like, subscribe. And I know I have a bias against it, but guys, just like the video. Let me stop talking.